It's certainly a focus in everything that we do on both ends of the floor. And, we out-rebound them by 25. It's a big number for us, but the individual performances that we continue to have with rebounding is quite impressive. And then, I keep telling them we want to maintain that national recognition that we're getting in the rebounding categories, and they've really bought into that, and they really have been working hard. It's heart and effort, and they're fighting and going after the ball, and it really translates into wins at a high level. And big picture, that's a really core element of how we want to play.
Can you think of anyone off the top of your head the past couple of years that you've coached that's had 20 rebounds in a game?
Yes, we've had a couple draft picks in the last few years. So if you're asking me personally, and it's hard to do. I mean, you're talking about the elite of the elite that are putting up numbers like that. But because we were fortunate to have some really talented players at our previous school, they did put up some 20-plus rebound numbers. Not often, but it has happened here in the last few years for us.
It seemed like Kristlyn found another way to be successful today. Can you talk about her and her development, and like you said, on the heels of being named Big 12 freshman?
Yes, I mean, she really did. She, the three-point shots weren't going in. I think she's 2 of 10 for the game, and she's coming off that just red-hot performance, but being defended a lot differently today. Nevada set in a zone, and they were all man today primarily. So she had to find ways to score in other avenues, and, we went to her a lot. We go to her a lot down the stretch when she's hot like that. I thought she made good reads. She drew the fouls. She hit a shot when we needed one when we were in that big drought there late, things like that. But we got her more off of driving plays and driving actions today. And she can do both, which is what makes her dangerous. But I'm most impressed by how she was able to follow up, as I mentioned earlier, the performance of coming off of such an incredible 48-hour period here for a freshman, being able to handle that. You never really know until they're in that moment how they're going to respond, and she responded excellent, obviously.
Let's talk about the crowd, because obviously that was different, and it might have been louder than a conventional college crowd.
Oh, it's awesome. I love Kid Day Game, Education Day Game, and this is the largest one I've ever been a part of. I think it's over 8,600 people here, 8,600 little ones, I should say. And boy, they got into it. They got into it late. Jessica and I were over there talking late in the game, but they gave us that extra boost that we needed, and we're just so thankful and grateful to the community and surrounding areas to be able to have this game, and for everyone to be a part of it that basically commits to coming. They have to obviously be driven here. They have to eat. There are a lot of people involved that make this special annually, and we want it to be even bigger. So we're going to go try to get it over 9,000 next year and eventually over 10. But we're so thankful and grateful for them, and it was a fun environment.
Coach, back to Sydney for just a second, and you're sitting here and you hear her, just the maturity that she has, obviously going through a lot of emotions today. How proud are you just of the development that she's been able to have? Obviously, this is her first year playing here at Texas Tech, but just what does she bring to this team from a maturity standpoint?
Yes, the first word that comes to my mind when I think of Sid is toughness. She's gotten here by outworking people, and she'll say that. And then here she is in a personal, tough moment. And, we talked about it at length, and she decided she wanted to stay here and really honor her grandfather by playing in the game. And, again, I still didn't know how that would look, because it can go either way when they're dealing with something like that. And, what a way to honor him with coming out her first double-double in a Lady Raider uniform. And I'm just beyond proud of her. I feel like she's my own daughter. You just want to give her a hug and tell her how much maturity that showed to, not just us as coaches who we get it, but just to her teammates, for her to stay here and to perform the way that she did today.
And you talked earlier this week just about how winning breeds winning, and especially after, the way that you guys were able to go and get a huge road win last week and to follow that up here today. It seems like an obvious question, but how important is it just throughout this process and as part of the movement just to be able to really take time and celebrate each individual win and victory?
Yes, and we will. We have a 24-hour rule where we celebrate these victories, and we're going to go have a little Christmas party here this afternoon and have a little fun and give them tomorrow off. But we're absolutely going to absorb and squeeze the juice out of this and not take it for granted, and know that, matching a win total from last year so quickly is a big deal. It is absolutely a big deal. This win didn't come till, I think, late January last year, and that's a long stretch to not, hit the double-digit number in wins, and it's a long season to go through. So I'm really happy with how they're handling success. You know, things like playing with a lead is brand new to them. We cannot forget that as a staff as we continue to approach this. Is, you know, we got the big lead in the first quarter, couple lapses, but that's new territory for this group. Anything that's on the positive side of winning or having a lead is brand new, even for a senior like Zuri. She's not played with a lot of leads in her career, so we're constantly teaching and using those moments. But it's a really big deal for the progression of our program and the movement and what we're doing here.
You had mentioned Zuri kind of there at the end, but how hard is it to do what she's been able to do and kind of forget the past and forget, you know, the struggles that she's gone through her entire career?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I always go back to my first meeting with Zuri when I'm asked something along those lines, and you know, sitting in my office and asking her what she wanted out of her senior year and what we would commit to her senior year as a staff. And my number one goal is for her to have the best year that she could possibly have in her last season here, because she's been through a lot, and we understand that, and we're sensitive to that, and we're empathetic to that. And best way to do it is to go out and have fun by winning and performing at a high level. And her rebounding, I mean, she's a ferocious rebounder. It's just been phenomenal putting up those types of numbers. I mean, you look 28 years. Think of all the greats that have come through here and played here, and you're looking at something that hasn't happened in almost 3 decades. I mean, it's, you know, and it's happening by someone who's about 5'11". You know, I've said it before, but she reminds me the closest thing I can compare her to is Dennis Rodman when he played for the Detroit Pistons back in the day. But she just goes and gets the ball.
Coach, you kind of touched on it there earlier where you had that early lead, and then throughout the middle of the game it was pretty even both sides. Mm-hmm. But to see the team also come back, not only get the early lead and kind of hold that throughout the game, but also to be able to put it away late, what does that tell you about the team and where they're at?
Yes, they were able to close it out. As you said, we had to hang in there the second, third quarter, and didn't look great at times, but we did hang in there and we did fight through, and then we come out in the fourth quarter and we jump ahead again and really bury them. So I think it just shows the progression. That's the best way that I can summarize it is, you know, yes, there's cleanup and stuff in there. We're certainly not where we want to be by any stretch of the imagination, but it's growth, and it's another step in our progress of getting to where we want to ultimately be.
Will Sydney be available for the Texas Southern game?
Yes, we're not sure. I mean, not that she's injured, but it's kind of day-to-day for us right now. They're working on funeral arrangements and so forth, so we will support her in whatever she chooses to do 100%, and we want to be just most supportive for her and her family. So right now we don't know.
Something that we like to take great pride in is our rebounding, not just from the post position, but also from the guard position. We want our guards averaging about 6 and our posts averaging 10. So I'm a split in between. So I try to take great pride in that and make sure I'm aggressive on the boards, not just defensively, but also offensively. I'm trying to give my teammates second chance points.
I'm wondering if you could take me back to the beginning of off-season conditioning and how much physicality was emphasized there and how much it's paying a dividend here in non-conference.
Weight room. We definitely try to get it in the weight room. Try to get a lot more, not just tough like through physicality, but also mentally tough. Being able to push through that wall and push through our comfort zone. So even when I feel myself getting fatigued, I'm going to still crash those boards because that's what I'm great at, and that's what I'm going to keep pursuing while I'm in the game.
Kristlyn, you know, 3 days after knocking down 7 3-pointers, it wasn't really working in that sphere for you, but you were able to manage 22 points and 4 assists anyway. You just talk about that and your versatility and just the success you've been having the past couple of weeks.
I would say when my shot's not, like 3-pointers not making, just attacking the basket and just still being physical and also getting my teammates involved. And
then, Sydney, just wondering about you and, you know, that was obviously your first career double-double here as a Lady Raider. How often has that happened in your career? And also, can you just talk about kind of fighting through the emotions to get that done today?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you have to fight through the emotions, especially with losing my grandpa this week. And Coach gave me good advice, just kind of like get it out on the court, you know, kind of use basketball as an outlet. And so that's kind of what I got to do today. I got to honor him through basketball, through the sport I love, and kind of use my platform in that way. And so that was really cool. And so I'm really glad I got to play today. So.